This is Yusuf Azizullah, GBAC CEO. And in this month, we will look at Equifax, the breach about it. I will do a case study on what should Equifax Board do. We're going to also look at lots of disruption happening right now from Hyperloop, blockchain, and other issues. The agenda for this month is I'm going to introduce you a couple of my subscribers. We're going to look at global markets. We'll talk about President Trump's tax reform. We'll look at NAFTA. What are NAFTA's implications? BREXIT. What are the new things happening in UK? Germany is the strategic capital market. Elections upcoming. Hyperloop. We'll look at blockchain ledgers and Equifax, the case study, and a little bit more about my network. Thank you. First, Jeff Bezos, Chairman and CEO of Amazon, a well-known figure, is one of my subscribers. And thank you, Jeff, for allowing me to share about you. Andrea Jung sits on the boards of Apple, General Electric, and Daimler, is also one of my viewers, and thank you for liking on our social media. Thank you, Jeff, and thank you, Andrea, for allowing me to share about you in my video. Global capital markets, starting with NASDAQ, record-breaking on Europe. Again, Bulgaria, the top largest market, 50% breaking records out of it. GBAC has advised the CEO and Bulgaria Stock Exchange on corporate governance. DAX in Germany, 13.5%, outstanding. In Casablanca, Morocco, I met the CEO and they had a link directly to UK FTSE, London Stock Exchange, and that is driving a lot of money coming into Casablanca in Africa, going towards China, Shanghai, Nikkei breaking records. Something for chairman to be understanding. Right now in the last 10 weeks, 30 billion has moved out of the United States, going into emerging markets, European markets, and Japanese markets. So the last 10 weeks of geopolitical disruption where President Trump has been tweeting against Fortune CEOs, this is causing a lot of headaches for US stocks. The real big question with the tax reform is, will we get it? How much will we be able to get the cash back? What tax rate? 10%. There's about $2.5 trillion cash sitting on the books of S&P 500. GBAC does believe that we will get some tax reforms. President Trump is working with the Democrats, and that's a sign for upcoming. Probably he wants to negotiate and get some kind of deal for him. It is a political necessity for him. Going to NAFTA. NAFTA, the second meeting was held in September 5th in Mexico. Both Canada and United States forced and are asking Mexico to raise the labor wages, union rights. There is a lot of negative opinion of the United States from Mexicans who research 65%. But there is also concern that nothing is really substantive coming out of it. NAFTA negotiations, the election for Mexicans are next year, so it might just stall till how long, we don't know. But all three countries confirmed that telecom, financial, and energy boards are moving swiftly for negotiations. Going to BREXIT. BREXIT, London was ranked the highest financial market, outranking New York for the first time in a recent survey. Corporate governance reforms presented by the Prime Minister Theresa May, worker on boards, following the German model, representation. Coming BREXIT in 2 years, UK would not have laws, so there's a law coming in through the parliament, going through that EU laws will become sort of bill move forward to become UK laws. Strategic capital market, Germany. Germany is outstanding, coming up with it represents Europe, stability for the planet, and it's a very innovative country. It's the fourth largest economy. More than 40% of global 500 are housed in Germany. It does most of its exports to the bloc. The latest innovation for moving people forward was a German innovation, disruption from Hyperloop. Record was broken recently in August from a German innovation, as I said earlier. This is really disruption for boards in supply chains, your supply chain management, moving things faster, products, services, airlines, trucking industry. This is going to see a disruption. Hyperloop race. It's now the Chinese are in it. The government agency for the China announced 4 times faster hypersonic, the speed of sound faster than that. They're working on that. Let's see how that comes out. What is my recommendation for GBAC? Really looking at supply chains, how things will be disrupted once we have Hyperloop, and disruption from blockchain. I want people, my board, my audience to understand that the future is going to be very different. Blockchain is different than Bitcoin. It's the technology behind Bitcoin, but it's not Bitcoin. Smart cities, as cities become more and more aware, we are going to be looking at contracts, smart contracts from blockchain. Everything is pretty much going to moving towards the cloud. Most of the Fortune companies have moved, 80-90% of them are moved into the cloud, and this progression will continue over 5-10 years. Blockchain has a lot of opportunity that we overlook. The emerging markets are going to have a much faster with fourth industrial revolution. Future technologies of next year, look at neural networks, machine learning, artificial intelligence. It's all going to be the next thing, and blockchain is going to be part of it. Stock exchanges are implementing it a lot. NASDAQ, Australian, Singapore. What I want boards to focus on is blockchain as a service, BaaS. The leaders are IBM, Microsoft, but there are opportunities across different industries. 150 billion worth of savings in back office just by implementing blockchain. I do want to talk about JP Morgan CEO talking against blockchain and the Chinese regulators. This is a shakeup. JP Morgan does use itself blockchain, so let's see. Unless they get out of it, I think it's a toss-up. My recommendations, I don't think Ethereum is going to be the de facto technology or the platform. It's really going to be the mixing. There's so many cryptocurrencies. Which one is going to be integrating them? That's really where the game is going to be. There's no leader, disruptive leader. There's many of them. Let's see the next 2-3 years which one really moves up the chain. Let's talk about Equifax breach. Cybersecurity is a major concern for boards in UK. Less than 20% of them, a survey found, are ready for cybersecurity. So let's talk about Equifax. Who's Equifax? S&P 500 member, ranked high, 24 countries, 3.1 billion. They provide data to almost a billion people of consumers and 91 million businesses. What do we know so far? Just since the breach was announced, it was the most highly critical data breach of privacy, social security, name, and the most private record. And this is a global thing. It's just not America. It's US, Canada, and UK consumers were affected. More than 30 lawsuits. CFO and 2 other executives actually sold the stock, $1.8 million worth of it. The company said they did not know about when the breach was announced, that the breach had occurred. But let's see what happens with it. The stock price has already fallen 18% and more will continue. So the company tried to do something a little bit not so upcoming and being upfront of telling when the hack happened, and they try to give consumers to sign a waiver with whoever signs up for their free credit monitoring. I do believe a congressional inquiry will surely develop out of this one. Equifax Board has multiple committees. They have a technology committee which GBAC recommends: audit, compensation, executive governance. Equifax is not my client, but they do have a technology committee that looks at cybersecurity as part of those risks. They are 11 board members, including the CEO, 10 independent. So what does GBAC recommends for them? And the board really needs to put a reputation out there. They need to do independent inquiries into the data breach, what happened, how, what, forensics of it, reporting directly to the board. They also need to do an independent inquiry into the stock sale. So this needs to be preemptive preparation for it. Expect litigation against the board coming soon. The amount of lawsuits, 30 lawsuits, but it's going to be a substantial amount of money. So my recommendation to them, the Equifax board, would be to start creating a litigation bucket, sell some corporate bonds in the next 12 to 15 months. Look at the CISO, the Chief Information Security Officer, and the IT staff. Being a cyber background, I was a finance guy who went into IT. You really need to meet the audit committee chair, the technology committee chairman needs to go and meet the CISO and the IT staff, get a feel for it, attend those the independent inquiries, as many as possible, because this will show duty of care. Look at your D&O insurance coverage. As with other clients I've seen over, D&O does not cover everything, and especially cyber breaches. So there's a limitation to it. Take a look at that. Check your own, how much is covered. Board training. Fundamental principle, the board needs to be more aware of cybersecurity, how to handle training on how to handle cybersecurity litigation. This is just part of the game. Expect this to be an ugly battle upfront in the public, and it's going to get uglier before it gets better. A little bit about GBAC network, Global 500. I introduced to some of my subscribers earlier in the video. In over 50 countries, all the major indexes. Most of the chairmen subscribe to me, look at my platform, and learn really the board innovation and disruption around the corner. We will provide signature education, board oversight strategy retreats where we discuss what really needs to be happening. Keep an eye out on disruption around the corner. I will see you next month. Have a wonderful day.